Right, good morning. Who's up bright and early? Morning, John. Morning, Leroy. Morning, Andy. Oh, a few of you up bright and early. Morning, Bob. Oh, evening, Bob. Evening, Bob. Morning, Bob. I'm on the wrong camera. No, I'm on the right camera. Something's going wrong. We've got a camera. It seems to have locked up. That's a good start to the morning, isn't it? We've got the camera, but she seems to have locked up. I'll be with you if you can hear me in a minute. Not streaming. Right, computer gremlins. Here we go. Ah, we have a picture. We have a picture, but the camera seems to be frozen. Oh, maybe it's the delay. Morning, Stacey. Ah, there we are. I'm back. I look perplexed. Camera's grrr, decided to turn itself off. Morning, Paul. Morning, Alf. Have I missed anybody while I was messing around with our fallen over camera? Morning, Malcolm. Morning, Malcolm. Morning, Malcolm. Morning, Malcolm. Morning, Malcolm. Right, morning, Miss T. I was talking to you. I had the camera on. Looked at the screen. Thought, why haven't we got anything? And I looked in my monitor from my OBS. Morning, Pat. And there was nothing there. I was like a ghost. I disappeared. I'm back now. So the camera just frozen up. Morning, Mark. Yeah. Morning, Kevin. Let's hope that's not the start of things to come, eh? Morning, James. Morning, Fred. Ah, good morning, Michael. How the devil is one? Supporting me, Oliver's wood turning mug, as you can see. I hope you're all sitting down with your Oliver wood turning mugs. Morning, Nick. Morning, Vicky. Got a few minutes. Morning, Hans. Everybody's turning up. The old faithful. I was late putting the video out. Reminder yesterday. I think it was 9 o'clock last night. Yeah, I did mean to do it earlier, and one thing took over from another. Morning, Paul. Morning, Grant. Yeah, so one thing took over from another. I got involved with another little project, and yesterday morning I had something to do. Ah, well done, John. Oliver's wood turning mug by hand. That's the way to do it. And then last night we finished, and something else come up. So I was working on another project, and time I walked indoors, it was 9 o'clock. Missed me tea. Mrs. Oliver won't cook after 7:30. You have to go hungry. But you can't say too much because Mrs. Oliver's in the house. What I'm going to do, I think next week, is turn the lathe round so the headstock's at the right hand side, and we'll do a bit wet turning, see if we can get with a few shavings. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Funny for you, not funny for me. I'll be in trouble. Again. Morning, Patrick. Morning, anybody I've missed while I'm waffling on. I shouldn't drink it like that. You can't see the Oliver's wood turning. I'll drink it like that with the handle. Greetings, Adrian. Morning, Patrick. All going on. I'm being held a iPad. Morning, Chris. Morning, morning. That's what I like to see. A few likes before we even start. You know it could go wrong. Morning, Leslie. No problem, Leslie. Thanks for the order. Oh, we got a high Karen creep. Morning, Pete. How you doing, mate? You alright? This is one thing that YouTube could sort of instigate a bit of feedback verbally, a bit like Zoom. Be quite funny, wouldn't it? We got 68 people at the moment, and you could all be talking at once. Be like a football match. Miss the football match. Mark Pritchard's your lathe bolted down and getting the same lathe next month. What one? The old Axminster or the Stratos? Morning, Martin. That was my little project last night. Well, thank you very much, Pete. You ain't seen anything yet. I'll pack up now. That's what it's for. Donate so he packs up, clears off. That was the project last night. I was setting up FU230. I've shot some videos setting it up, and well, I've gone the other way, Mark. I'm over to the Stratos. I've got a FU230 setting it up last night. It's not ready for today. It's set up, but it meant lugging all this lathe out and getting that in. And 9 o'clock last night, I thought, oh, I'll pack it up. Alf, we've started using UPS, and you're the second one that's had to go to a drop-off point. I'm sort of a bit perplexed about it, really. I'm talking to them. They're supposed to deliver the thing, and yeah, I'm not happy about that at all. It's not bad service if you're in. If you're out, they leave it at the drop-off point. It's all right if they notify you. The guy that I'd phoned me up Thursday, he started chasing his order, and we looked into it, and it had been left at a drop-off point, and he wasn't informed. Morning, Maple Trees. Morning, Wavy. Morning, Neil. Sorry if I've missed anybody waffling on. We're due to get going in just a second. Last slurp of coffee, and away we go. Yeah, the 230, Adrian, if you watch next week, I'll have the 230 set up in here, and we'll go through it. A cracking bit of kit. I've added a swing away to it, so I can move the extension bed round, and for larger bowl turning I can come off the side. So as I say, it's all set up. I tested it. Not tested it, run it up, but I've not got it into position, and I want to build myself a tool rack so my tools can sit underneath the lathe, and that sort of thing. So okay, so morning, Clive. What we're going to do today is we've got a bit grubby looking bit, I must admit, the sweet chestnut, and I'm hoping to make it look quite pretty. You never know your luck. I've pre-drilled a 50mm hole so I can bang it on the jaws. Has it got a safety net? It's got a full safety shield, false shield around it. And grab me safety glasses. We'll switch to the overhead. That woke you up. Ding. Safety glasses round my neck. Get tidied up. Oh. That's it. Collar up, safety glasses on, switch you over to an overhead camera, and there you're overhead. So we've got this bit of sweet chestnut, goes on the lathe there. Need a truck key, reach over there, and I'm just going to expand the drawers into that to make sure we're okay. Nice and tight. I'm just going to bring the tailstock up for extra security. You've seen my turning before, haven't you? So we need a bit of extra security. Morning, Andrew. Morning, Richard. I'm saying morning as I'm looking. I brought the tool rest up and I'm just going to spin this by hand to make sure she's free running. I'll drop that tool rest down a little bit. About there, I think. And with my move over to using a few Hamlet tools, if you were looking on Facebook earlier, it comes the unshameful plug. This is the Hamlet Glen Lucas bowl gouge. It might make me a better bowl turner. What do you think? Right, back to the overhead. Lathe speed down. Turn the lathe on. Slowly advance the speed. Bring her up to, I don't know, about there. To about 750, 800. Tools in my side. Nice long handle so I can keep it in my side. Slide the bevel up. Little rub. And just feel this around, bringing it into balance. Like so. So far so good. What do you think? So far so good. One more there. Travel the tool at the speed the wood is coming over the cutting edge. Just try and keep a nice continual flow of shavings as we go. I slowly lean across the lathe. No chase. There. Now we're getting round. I'm going to start putting some shape in. So I rub the back of the bevel, lean towards the lathe. Get a bit more speed into the lathe now. We're up to about 1000 RPM. That noise there is me pushing a bit harder. Now technically I should have torn grain everywhere because I'm turning the wrong way. I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but trust me when I say there is no torn grain. I'm rubbing the bevel and allowing a sharp tool to cut the wood. So I'm just building up my shape. Come back again. as I come round, I'm twisting into the lathe. There. And raising my handle a little bit. I'm going to just push one more round here. One more. I look at the horizon, so when I'm cutting, I'm looking over here to see my shape. And what I'm doing as I come into the base here, I twist away from the lathe and make this tall foot is the plan. And I will come back over it and tidy it up once we're on the truck. I just think that's about it there. Going to be somewhere around there. Now I want this stem to be fairly square. I'll come back the other way. What I might do is put a taper on the stem actually. There, something like that. Now we'll just bring this around and put our spigot on. Now I've got a bit of torn grain here now because I was forcing the wood away. I should have taken just a lighter cut, but I'll just come in here and clean the bottom of this up so I can see where we're at. Let's come over to a side on camera, you can see that now. Just flatten that off a little bit. Get my caliper. Get my glasses on. 46mm-ish. Left point. You can't really see that. Left point in. Scribe to line. Line it up. Be about there. If you use a pencil, you can see the line I've scribed in. Just there. Just adjust the tool rest round, come in with a skew and make my spigot. Lift the handle as I go. Up to the line. Be about there. I want to just make sure that's flat. If we come back to the overhead, I can see that's nice and square, and I've got a bit of a taper on this shoulder here going in. We're going to have quite a deep foot on this. Right, so pull that out of the way. Get rid of the old elbow stabber. Oh, put the wrong live centre in. Now I've got a short live centre which don't auto eject, so it needs a tap. That's out of the way. Get me towel stock out of the way. Grab me key. Do that up on there, pinch it up, quarter of a turn's enough, and make sure we got no gap on this shoulder here. That looks pretty good. Turn the speed down, turn it on, and see how she's running. She's a little bit out, and I've got a feeling this is all clean. I think I've got a little problem with the chuck. I haven't been rectified it yet. The headstock was lined up to the tail stock, although I don't see that makes any difference. But
do you prefer a spigot?
Spigot to socket. If I'm doing a bowl like this, I don't want to be left with a socket in the bottom of the bowl. So I want to turn it away so it's nice and clean. So yeah, I prefer a spigot.
He uses dovetails.
If I'm doing a socket, a dovetail socket, I use that a lot on big platters. So if I'm doing sort of a 30-inch platter, I wouldn't put that on a spigot. I'd have a big socket in the back, and I'd make the socket part of the foot. But for what I'm doing here, this is fine. So I'm going to have to take a couple of refining cuts. We'll drop that tool rest down a little bit. It will tidy up that little bit of torn grain. And I'm going to come back into the foot just to tidy it up. So now I've got the bit of speed. Just a slight cut here, real light. Just going to adjust my tool rest around there. Be careful of the chuck. Keep it up close. And I'm just going to tie this up on the wing with a little sort of shear cut. Taking a very fine shaving. I just want to get in there on the tip. It's not going to matter too much, you'll see in a minute. Just follow me curve round, little shear cut round. And now I'm just going to get the rest of this cut out to the top. Just want to push this bit away here. Just get it round. just tie that up with a shear cut again. Give it a few lines. What was that? This is a bit of sweet chestnut. It's got a grain pattern to it. I'm not worried about the grain pattern on the outside very much. You'll see why in a minute. Right, just tidying up a bit. We'll give it a little sand. Just looking at the horizon as I come round here. Just refine the shape a little bit. That there will do us. That looks alright. So now we're just going to face the blank off. Coming in there, make sure my gouge is coming through on the tool rest on centre. Let's whip her over to that camera. Turn it on, and now just going to come along this front. Just tidy this front up. To about there. That looks alright. Phone's going. So some people realise Saturday morning I'm not going to answer the phone, talk to people or anything like that. So all I'm going to do is give this a quick light sand with a 120 grit. I think that's 120 at 120, and this is just purely a quick wipe over. There. Okay. Next thing. Oop, missed. We've got our little power carver here. And we're going to come back overhead, might be better for you. We're just going to carve down randomly. It doesn't matter. Some of these carvings are deeper than others. Sorry? No, this is a little carving tool that uses like a power chisel. It can be done with a Dremel, or we will have some carving tools on the site next week that you could do this sort of job with. As I come in, I'm trying not to hit my base. I'm going to have to return the base a little bit in a minute. Better than watching paint dry. Sorry? I'm going to New Zealand to shear sheep. They seem to have got the COVID sorted out better than the UK. They ban everybody from entering. Because they're an island. Oh wait, so are we. Now you can put these on quite random. Nearly there. Just making sure I've got no large areas. Yeah. Now if ever you're doing something like this, keep your left hand behind the cutter, because if you slip, it'll hurt. So all I'm doing with my left hand is just supporting the right behind the cutter. So the worst that happens if I slip, I dig the foot where I don't want to dig it. Right, let's put a random pattern to the outside. Now I'm going to come across the face. You just sharpen. You would just sharpen the bevel at the back, and you can do it on your pro edge. You just hold it against the face. It looks like it's around about 30 degrees, but you'd hold it on the table and just sharpen it up, or you'd just use a diamond stone. Just trying to make a random pattern on the front. I'm just locking the spindle off as I go. Keep going to push the green button. Turn it on, that won't help me, will it? It's alright, turn the lathe speed down to 0 just in case I go and make a mistake. The other camera, sorry. How's that? Right, you can see we're... Well, what's happening is I'm bending the cord over too far and losing... Now, I seem to have lost power in me carver. Hold on, let me just adjust this up.
Are you going fast for demo purposes, or is that how fast?
I'm going fast for demo purposes. Obviously, we want to try and get this done today, or in my little time frame. And it looks like I might have run out of steam here. I might have to do it by hand. Let me just unclip this, bring it down, clip it over there, see if that helps us, because she seems to have given up the ghost on the... That's better. She didn't like being hung up and dragged across. That one was a bit brutal. As I said, it don't much matter. What I would normally do if I'm doing something like this is I would carve a bit and then leave it and come back to make sure that I've got detail sort of a bit more uniformed, but this is supposed to just be random. I'll just put a few nicks in the edge. Karen's laughing, so someone said something untoward. How dare you? You what? Calling? A she. It is a bit unruly. Sorry? At the moment I'm using a 1628, but I've just been setting up a Stratos FU230, so you lucky people will be able to see one of them being used from next week. I've been meaning to swap over for a while. There's a few features on it that are, in my opinion, better. So it's time for a new tool day. Now what I don't want to do is carve out that way and really bust the edge out. So I'm just sort of working inwards. That'll do us. Before we all get bored, that'll do us. So that's that bit carved out. I'll just move the carving tool out the way. Right. So we've now got a carved face. The next thing is fire. So, if you're going to get involved with fire around the lathe, the safety features. Firstly, get a broom and sweep away any shavings under your lathe, so that if anything untoward was to drop down, you ain't running in a mad panic. So, I'll sweep the shavings away. The next thing is, if you've got a fire extinguisher, have it handy.
People asking what tool that was. Does it have different parts?
Does it?
Have different bits?
Yeah, they're just a electric carving tool.
The ones that we got next week have got lots of bits in.
We're going to get a set in for next week, which will have loads of bits in. There's various models around, but you know, they take different tips. You could do it with hand carving tools if you've got hand carving tools. That just takes the strain out of it. So I've cleaned the shavings from under my lathe sitting on my tool bed. I know you'd all find it quite amusing if we go up in smoke. Mrs. Oliver won't, so I'm on my best behaviour. So, what I've done for safety as well is put a board underneath, so anything that drops down here drops on top of that board and I can see what's happening. Here we have a flamethrower. The old lathe will be going. Mind the cameras. we're getting there. You can see this has come back overhead. Don't want to see my bald edge. Overhead, there. Sorry? It's a blowtorch. What's the matter with you? Keep burning it until you've moved away any of your tooling marks. Safe sanding. So all I'm doing now is going round and making sure I've scorched all the surface, all the high points. I'll do the same to the front. There we go. Sharpshooter. So, we've now burnt the wood. So, if you looked at this realistically, this is quite effective just on its own. And you could stop there and, you know, do whatever all out your bowl. I would tidy the foot up. I'm going to get in there and just tidy that foot up in a minute, because I want to see the contrast of the wood and the wood there and the burnt there. If I just whip that off the lathe so you get more of a view. Cheers, Paul. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. I've got a little tool here. I'm not the little tool. This little tool. I'm not getting Christmas presents this year. Mrs. Oliver said we're not doing Christmas because we're in lockdown, or we will be. So, let's hold that up there. Get it to the camera. Can you get the light on there? You can see that on its own can be quite effective as a finish. So that's, you know, you could stop there, but you know me, I'm not going to stop there. You couldn't see it very well. Let me just bring this up. Can you see that? Yeah? How's that? You see, you can see the light wood amongst the dark wood, and that could be a finish if you want to. Now, if you burn wood, it keeps you warm. So, if you burn wood, singe wood, it can smell a little bit, so if you're looking for potential customers you can put them off. So one way around that, oh, I'll put it back on the lathe, put you back on the camera. So I'm back on the lathe. So this smells, so if you're going to sell it, it smells singed. Some people like that smell, but the way of alleviating that is the thin lemon oil sinks into the wood, dries out, and leaves like a citrusy type of smell, which people prefer. Now you could brush this on, but this won't change things, so I'm just going to dab this on quite heavy and let it sink into the wood. Now if I was doing this properly, this would get a few coats until I'd got rid of the burny smell. Just go around it like so. And you just keep going round. I'll put a bit on the front. Same if you pyro anything, pyro burn anything. If you want to get rid of that singed smell, you can put the lemon oil on. And lemon's really thin. Orange oil will probably be the same. Really thin. Just soaks into the wood and disappears. Doesn't change anything. It's really, really thin stuff. Right. Karen was laughing, so who's being untoward? Derek? You're about to get your first warning, you'll get barred. Right, so there's a bit of lemon oil. We can use a little brass brush and go over it and get rid of any loose charcoal, smoke damage, whatever you want to call it. Like so. Okay. Now we're going airbrushing, and what we're going to use is the Golden Artist Colours Interference paints. Let's bring that up that way. Left a bit, stop, right a bit, stop, fire. Golden Artist Colours. So we'll give this a shake up. And we just put a little few drops in there. 6 drops. Bit of extender. 6 drops. Oop, 7 drops. It's all going to go wrong now because I've got 7 drops of extender and only 6 drops of paint. What am I going to do? Give this a little mix up in here. So now if I turn the lathe on slowly, I'm just going to give this a little airbrush out. And I'm going from the bottom to the top. Now the interference paints give you colour on dark surfaces. You can see we've started putting a blue tinge to that now on the outside. Carry on for a bit. And then I'm going to blow. Might leave that spinning as I come across the surface. Karen's just moved out of the way. She's standing the opposite side of the lathe. And she was concerned she might have a new hairdo. She could join the Blue Rinse Brigade. Right, so there's blue. Now I'm just going to check that, see what it looks like. Might just put a bit more on there. When I start this, if I come side camera, I'm starting here, spraying, and then across and stopping in my dead area. There. So that's my blue. Now, what I'm going to do is add a green. I might add a green. Don't sound like very much in the green. Huh?
Can you say what paint you're using?
Golden Artist Colours. Part of the Oliver's Woodturning art department. Another shameless plug. I really don't care this morning. Right, so one. There was about 6. Couple for the lathe. Bit of extender. Now I haven't cleaned the brush out because I'm spraying this over the top of the blues, so it's going to blend in anyway. Might put just a little bit more green in there, make it a bit more green visible. I might not put much more green in there. The bottle looks like it's nearly out. There we go. Bit of green. That looks better. Now what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to spray the front again. Across. Now I'm going to spray the side, but this time I'm going to start this side going down.
You've got a new lathe coming, you're painting your lathe.
Huh?
And you're painting your lathe, you say you've got a new lathe coming.
It's all set up on the other side of the workshop.
Why does the paint in the airbrush look white?
Because that's the
Iridescent?
no, it'll be part to do with the extender, but the extender just evaporates away, and part of it will be to do with the pearlescent bit of the paint.
You're putting water-based acrylic over a wet film of oil. Does that work?
Well, normally what we would do is allow the oil to dry properly, but if I stood here for whatever amount of time letting the oil dry, it would be a bit more boring than normal. So now I've got green going that way, blue going this way, and there's a fleckle to it. You can probably see some of that on the front camera there. So we'll stop there. The only trouble is I've got an airbrush with paint in it, fully armed and loaded. I've got a little hole there. Let's stick that up there. Remind me that I've got that stuck up there. So now I've got a paint. So what we're going to do now, what's that lead for? That one there.
They want to know if you use Yorkshire grip microphone on your head.
No, I use cut and polish. Cut and polish. Right. Now, for obvious reasons that will become apparent in a moment, keep Mrs. Oliver talking, okay? Take her minds off of things. Shh. La 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 la. She hasn't heard the air dryer yet. It's our little secret, right? I'm just giving that a quick dry off. Don't much matter. There we go. She didn't notice, we're all right. That looks dry enough. Okay. So, now we're just going to roll out a bit of a bowl. So I'm going to turn the headstock out because I find it easier. Well, quicker. Bring tool rest up so my tool's coming through on centre height, and we're just going to hollow a bit of a bowl out of here. I'm just up at around about 800, back of the bevel. So when I come back, I can rub the back of the bevel, lean forward, tip scores aligned, rotate the wrist anti-clockwise. I have to think about that. Little push in. And to hollow, I'm just twisting away from the lathe, raising my handle up. There. Now I can start in the middle more. Coming over to a fresh ground tool. check this. Don't want to go too deep, but I want to go deep enough for the effect. The reason I don't want to go too deep is I don't want to become a member of the funnel club. Purely about timing. I'll just check my line. I want to get rid of this line. Woohoo! Right, we should be coming back with you. We should. An OBS problem. Oh no, buffering, you're quite right. Sorry people, cheers David, that's very kind of you. I see we've lost a lot of people. I'm sorry. We should be unfrozen now. I'm going to try another bit of software in the week. Right, I can see the chat slowly catching up. We should be back with you. Thank you for everybody with the patience to stay with us. It is a problem when you do live streams and you get crashing problems. This wasn't a broadband connection issue. This was OBS crashing out on us. So what I've had to do is shut down OBS, shut OBS down in the background of the PC to get it to restart so it would reconnect. So we're there now. So what we were up to, I don't know how far you got. I've now come in and hollowed this bowl. So we've got this bowl finish. We could go deeper, there's no need to. It's only a decorative object. So now what I want to do is just sand this. It won't take a lot of sanding. So I'm going to start with 180 and go to 240. What I've got to be careful of, obviously, is I don't want to hit my paint. So if I just start this up, just bring this out, pick the edge up. I'm supporting it now. I've got the tool into my stomach. It's a big stomach, so it can't spin out where I don't want it to. I'm just going to come into the edge, back into the middle. There's that. And now on to me 240. See how that tried to kick back on me there, but because I've got it into my belly and supported with both hands, I'm stopping that from happening just to give it a sand, and that'll do us. That's 180 and 240. Now we'll use our tack cloth just to wipe the dust out. I'm going to airline it to get the paint dust out of the paint in a minute. That's why I use the air dryer. Don't tell Karen. And tried to dry the paint because I didn't want the dust collecting on the paint.
What's the benefits of the new lathe over the 1628?
What's the benefits? Okay. One of the benefits is the way you can connect the extension bed either on the end or off the side. So I do a lot of bigger pieces, so I can come off the side and have my tool rest. Where I've got my tool rest at the moment overhanging, if I'm doing a hollow form, I get my tool rest overhanging like this, and what happens, are you better on overhead there? I have my tool rest like this, so I might be off of here, not on the central bar, but with the extension bed coming out the side, I can bring the headstock up and be on the tall post. The belt housing is on the external with the indexing system, and you can clearly see the indexing system and adjust it in. It's a 2 horsepower motor. It does 18 inch, I think it is, over the bed, where this does 16. It's only 2 inches, but it all counts. If ever you have to change the belt, you don't have to dismantle the spindle. It's all on the outside, and there were a few other bits and pieces, but I will do a full review on it, explaining it to people. I've started shooting a bit of video on it to show it off and how it was set up. One-handed, I might say. I didn't have any help. So here we're using, as I've been using for a while, this cut and polish.
Why do you not use sheet paper rather than the holder? I think that's the sanding on the inside.
You what?
Why don't you use sheet paper rather than the holder?
Why don't I use, what you mean, hand sand?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, so you can sand by hand and just use a bit of sandpaper in your hand and support it round, and that works perfectly well. You tend to spin the lathe slower when you're doing that, because you don't want to cause heat. If you get little heat cracks in your work, the only way to get rid of them is turn them away, realistically. The inertial reel sanding, it's a Simon Oak inertial reel sanding system. This, you can spin the lathe faster. You have to get used to using them. You have to put a bit of pressure on one of the points of the compass, really, and you guide it in, and it spins this way while the lathe is spinning this way, and it just makes sanding, especially bowls and oliforms, that much quicker. So I went over to this. If I'm spindle turning, then I use the hand sanding method, but for bowls and oliforms I use the inertia reel sanding. I mean, it's quicker, more efficient, just got to get used to using it. So what I've done now is I've put this cut and polish on, and we have to let it soak in for about a minute. So we're nearly close. We're even closer now. A bit closer again now. Right, so we have a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So let's buff this up. So we just buff this up. Work the paste into the wood. Well, even with a breakdown, we're not doing bad for time this morning. I was thinking that I'll get a completed project. I sort of hour and a half-ish for a demo. And the plan was to get this complete. So I'm supporting my wrist as I buff this around. Whoop, let's come on to that. And I just keep working it in until there's virtually nothing coming off on the paper towel. There we go. Nice, and it's already got a lovely shine to it. And now I'll use a bit of the Chestnut microcrystalline wax. I think these are a good combo together. and I've got a bit of safety cloth. I just use paper towel for the cut and polish, but I use safety cloth for the wax. Now this is the tiny turners trick. Instead of using a whole sheet, tear off a quarter. That's all you need. Brilliant. Anti-sales. So just put a thin coat of this. Don't put wax on too thick. If you put wax on too thick, it takes forever to shine it up. If you can see the wax, your coat's too thick. Just thin. If you think you've got excess wax on, just take it off at this stage quickly. There. Now bring this over onto a clean bit of towel and we'll give this a buff. Get the heat into the wax, smooth it out. There. And we've got a lovely shine on there on the inside of the bowl. If I want more of a shine, I just give it a second coat of wax, but thin again. So just a little bit on the paper towel or the safety cloth. Wipe it on, make sure you get it on evenly all over. Like so. Clean bit of towel. Turn it on, give it a bath. It's the best part about wood turning, is waxing or oiling and shining up the piece of wood. Just my favourite thing, really. Seeing that bit of wood come to life. There we go. That's a lovely shine in there. Over there. Now I'm going to grab an airline. And just blow that dust off of there. That'll do. Get that back there. Turn them off there. Okay, so now we've got to this point in the day. I've never got this far in a demo. I'm getting all excited. Proper excited I am. I'm going to take that bowl off of there and now find my Longworth chuck. Now normally before you do this you would make sure the paint's properly dry, but we're on demo time. I think it's dry. Looks dry, feels dry. My golly, it is dry. So I'm just going to bring the bowl up onto this here, open the feet up a little bit, get the feet in. I'll just pinch one up just lightly. Around the ragged rock, the ragged rascal run. Just pinching these up just slightly around as we go. I don't want to mark the paint because it's a masterpiece. A masterpiece.
Who's going to try his chuck today?
Stuart, you're going to play with your chuck today. You'll enjoy it. It's good fun.
I say if you finish early today, you can spend the rest of the day cleaning your chuck.
If I clean my chuck, it'll be like everybody else's, so it's not going to happen. Adrian, thanks for popping by. Enjoy your day with whatever you've got planned. So I'm now just tightening this up a little bit further and letting the rubbers grip the outside of the work. Making sure she's pushed in there. Like so. And make sure she's secure. She's secure. Now with these chucks, you turn slowly. No more than 600 is the recommended. So we'll turn it on. Just advance the speed a little bit. See, we're a little bit out on this, but it's not going to matter too much. And maybe because the surface is uneven now, we're not sitting flat against it, but we're just going to turn this off, and I'm going to try, that'll be the problem, the foot. The foot. I wanted the foot to be natural wood. I wanted the foot to be natural wood. But if I turn that away, it's going to be a little bit off-centered because this is wobbling. Now it's wobbling, it looks secure against the face, nice and tight, but because the surface is uneven now where I've textured it, it's pushing it out by just, I don't know, a mil or so. And there is a little problem we've got. Because if I do this, this is out by mil and a half, so the foot would be off-centered. I've got an idea. Right, we'll sand the foot. So I'll just turn the speed up. We're about 550 there. And just very fine cuts. Into that centre. Real light. That's what I'm going to do. That was my little plan. In a minute.
Could you use the tailstock to screw it up?
I could use a jam chuck on the tailstock to true it up.
Does the torsion have distorted the wood with the texture?
It's probably a combination of the texturing and the scorching, to be fair. It's not sitting obviously completely flat. I could mess around. What I could have done is got some bubble wrap and put the bubble wrap on the rim and then pushed it into it. Would have balanced it out possibly. Or I could have just turned a little dome, put the dome inside the bowl with a bit of non-slip mat, brought the tailstock up with a live centre, and turn this bit away like that. If you order a lathe, I'll send you 2 mugs and 2 tea bags so you can have a party. The other advantage with the 230, there's 2 plug outlets on the bottom of the lathe on the inverter box, so you can plug all your tools that you're going to use into there rather than run extension leads from sockets. The only downside, because it's German, they're German plugs. It actually comes with a German plug fitted to it and an adapter, so you need a couple of adapter plugs in there, and then you can just plug your 13 amp tools. Now I've got to be really careful here, just picking up this outside edge. Just putting a little concave on the foot so it stands nice and even. Not too much at once. Oliver, don't get greedy. You could hear a pin drop. So quiet. Right, so there's that.
You don't have an air fryer, to get rid of the dust.
Just paintbrush or vacuum cleaner. So if I just get a bit of sandpaper here, a bit of 120, I'll see if I can remove the paint. Going to take a bit of sand in. The scorching goes into the wood a bit. How that's looking, that's getting better. So it'd be far better turned, because you get rid of this in 2 passes, but just for the purpose of, while we're in this Longworth chuck, we'll just sand it a bit more. Right, that'll do for that, and then I'll get a bit of 180 if I can find a bit. bit of 180 here. Clean bit. No expense spared sandpaper.
Somebody suggested buying cans of compressed air and using for cleaning keyboards.
Yeah, we do cans of compressed air for the airbrushes, so you can buy airbrushes if you haven't got a compressor and you don't want to get involved in the expense of a compressor and you want to go with an airbrush. The Spraycraft range does an airbrush that runs off a canister of air, so you can do that. I'm just looking for a bit of 240 now in this mash of sandpaper here. And that's 240, so I'm just going to come in here with the 240. This is obviously not going to be perfect because it's not turned, but it will give you the idea. Just run a bit on the foot there. There. So what we'll do is try and make this shine up. So a quick bit of cut and polish. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're all right. Little bit of cut and polish. Now I'm going to apply this, because I don't want it on the paint, just on the corner of the tissue by hand. Now if you're doing this sort of work properly, it does take a bit longer than this because you'd have it dead right, but this will give you the effect. And the idea of the contrasting foot to the outside paintwork is it marries the inside of the bowl. So there. So we give that the minute. 60, 59, blah, 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 blah. Right. That'll do, huh? So now we're just going to spin this up and buff it up, and then we'll put a bit of wax on it, take it off, and you can see the effect. So just work that in. Remember, we're in a Longworth here, so don't start pushing with all your might. Just adequate amount of pressure just to work that in. There. Little bit of wax. A little bit of shine. Get my safety cloth. Real small dab of wax. Work that in round the edge.
How does cut and polish rate against Yorkshire grit?
Both have got a cutting agent in. With Yorkshire grit, you use a sanding sealer. The recommendation is a sanding sealer and then cut away. The reason I like the cut and polish, no disrespect to Yorkshire grit, I sell loads of it and it's a really good product, but the cut and polish actually puts a shine on the wood. Yorkshire grit puts a bit of a shine, and you don't have to put a sanding sealer on with it, you put it straight onto bare wood. So both are a good way if you're going to put a wax finish on to finish your work. The reason I've started using cut and polish is my little tin of Yorkshire grit come to the end of its life, and I'd never used cut and polish, so I thought I'll give it a go. So now I'm using that for the time being.
It's the blue paper finish in itself.
Yeah, the blue paint is a finish in itself. You could, if you want to, spray a lacquer over the top of it, but I don't bother because I think this works quite well as it is. So by that, just release the Longworth. Now, unfortunately, because of our broadband issues here, we're on a lower rate picture, so you're not going to see this in all its glory full on. The broadband issue continues. We've now got a router, so we will hopefully soon, I'm just going to airline this, have the router connected to the fibre connected to the internet, and we'll be able to stream in high definition for you lucky people. Right, and here we go. I don't know what best camera is going to pick this up, but let's bring it to this one first. Give me them safety glasses now. Can I get, I don't know if you can really, let's try this one over here. Want more light, really. That just, you can get the blue on that now, I think. There. And the reason it sprays two ways, which you're really not going to see. Let's try the overhead. Ah, that's better. You can see it glisten. And if you look one way, you get a greeny tint. And look the other way, you get more of a bluey tint to it. Can you just make that out there? But there, polished on the inside. And it's just an effect that makes your decorative object just a little bit different. Oop, I keep moving it to one side and off the camera. Karen's not telling me, put it back on the camera though.
No, it's off the camera. He's down.
Joe would be saying, get it on the camera, you're off. Oh, look at that there. You see the glitter in there. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There. So you get the contrast of the wood against the colours. The interference paint works against the dark background, so burnt or burnt textured. There's the outside, bring it into shot, and it just creates something a bit different. I'm back with my little bowl. Now what I need to do is put some floodlights up on my camera rig for showing stuff off. Simple project, looks quite effective, and you can see we've done that in under an hour and a half. You can spend a bit more time, let the paints dry properly, but you still got an effective bowl there. I hope you've enjoyed your mornings. What's happened? Thumbs down, a sad interview. Someone give me the thumbs down. Three people giving me the thumbs down. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Pat. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Elena, thank you. Excellent. Thanks, Steve. Thank you very much. Terry, glad you enjoyed it. Thanks, Chris. Good night, John. Thanks for popping along. Cheers, Alf. Glad you've enjoyed it. Yes, Derek, the golden interference paints are special. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Michael. Lovely old job. Thanks, Fred. Morning, Fred. If I didn't say morning. Thanks, Andy. Glad you've enjoyed it. Thanks, Robert. Stuart, thank you. Comments are coming in quicker than I can read them. Thank you, James. Thanks, Elmsley. Cheers, Martin. Thank you. Cheers, Yv. Thanks, Peter. Don't forget, if you're still here and you've enjoyed yourselves, hit the like button for me. Hit the subscribe button for me. And if you really want to go the full mile, share the video with your friends. That'd be great. So, like, a bit like Prime Minister speaking, isn't it? Like, subscribe and share. Wash your handy pandies. Cheers, Trevor, very kind of you. Wash your handy pandies, put your face masks on and keep your distance. We're in the Oliver's Woodturning YouTube channel. It's like, subscribe and share. Share the love. Cheers, Stephen. Cheers, Ivor. Thank you. Thank you, Trevor. I said thank you, Trevor. Miss T, thank you for coming along. Cheers, Karen. Karen's here as well. Oh, you said thank you, Karen. Ed and Karen, right.
Everybody's worried about the airbrush.
Colin, yeah, don't worry about the airbrush. I'm going to wash it out in a minute. Cheers, Colin. Thank you very much, Martin. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Thanks, Hans. Yes, we'll see you next week with a new shiny lathe. I wonder how long we can keep it going.
98 thumbs up.
Nearly 100. Well done, John. There we go. Thank you. Why would you watch something that you're not enjoying is beyond me. Thanks again. I always appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Richard. Morning, Gary. Yeah, this is English time, not Scottish time. You're late. You've missed it. It's all over. No flying bowls. No disasters apart from the weren't the broadband in fairness. OBS fell over.
Woodard wants to know if he's still on.
Thank you very much, Nick. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Obviously with my channel, the streams stay up as videos anyway, so you can always come back and watch whenever. Thanks, David. 100, hooray! I can't see him. Oh, I'm only at 99 at my end. Cheers, James. Oh, I can see it's 100. You never know. One day we might hit 200. I'm only joking.
DL Woodard wants to know if he's still on the band.
Yeah, he's properly banned. That's Derek. Gary, you've been busy on a Saturday. What's the matter with you, mate? Hey? You're all on restricted measures up there. Unlike us down in the sunny south, we're allowed to do as we like. Yeah, right. 101 now. God, any advance? It's like 102. It's like an auction. So another Saturday draws to a close. I'm rocking around. Another Saturday draws to a close. I'll have to work out what I'm going to do for next week. No painting next week. New shiny lathe. Got to keep it shiny. Ooh, that'll be nice. New shiny lathe. Keep her shiny. I won't be allowed to paint or do anything ever again. Oh, trying to get the daughter out and into the old workshop. She's going to become a turner too, Gary. We'll wait and see. Oh, Robert, 103. Any advance on 103? This is going wonderfully well. New lathe, Gary, yeah. We've got a Stratos FU230 coming into view next week. I set it up last night and spun it up cracking, but I didn't have time to get tools stacked underneath it and get it into position for this morning. So, living the dream. No, living it. Pat, no, I'm going to look after this lathe. It's going to stay shiny with the nice Stratos emblem on it. No paint. No. Only sensible things. I've got to make it match me chucks, haven't I? Otherwise the chucks will look out of place. Yeah, there'll be paint all over it within 24 hours, you know that. I know that. They're a tool. Or am I the tool? Karen calls me a tool sometimes. The old lathe, Terry. Well, the old lathe will be cleaned up and she'll probably go on eBay, I suppose. Anybody interested, if they give me a shout, we can sell it without eBay, but it will go. I don't need 4 lathes in here. I haven't got room for 4 lathes in here. So at the moment I run 2 of these 16/28s. That's what I used to teach on. Hopefully one day I'll teach again. Me VB36 for me monster pieces. So yeah, it's got to go. Yeah, Pete, shiny into when? For how long? Anytime. We can have a sweepstake on how long the lathe stays clean. Yeah, it won't be too long. Otherwise I'm not doing what I like to do. And I'm not about to start covering it in cling film and peeling it off. Send it to you as you did not get a mug. Well, you did not get a mug because we didn't have mugs back then when you last placed your order. Mugs came in a couple of weeks ago, I think now. Going fast. We're about halfway down the stack, so we should have a couple more weeks worth. And then that will be the end of the mugs. Don't clean it. I should sign it, eh, Elmsley? Yeah, I'll sign the lathe. That might put value to it.
Malcolm in Shaddockshurst is interested. He said earlier.
Malcolm in Shaddockshurst. Seriously interested, live in Shaddockshurst. Right, Malcolm, you've got our number. Just give me a ring. You're welcome to give me a ring. I did have someone that was interested. I've tried phoning them but can't get hold of them. So, yeah, give me a shout by all means. I'll be free probably after 1. Once I finish this, I normally go and get a cup of tea and a sandwich before we start whatever we're going to do for the afternoon. So, give me a shout. Right, people, it's been a great morning. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. We've got a little Mrs. Oliver's Christmas present is done. She won't know if she'll forget by then. She's got senile dementia coming on. So I'll wrap it up and she'll go, oh, lovely. I hope you have a good week. Thanks for popping by. If you're on your way off, don't forget, like, subscribe and share the love. And I look forward to coming up with something else for you all for next week. Thanks for the donations, those that have donated. It's really kind of you. You never know, next week could be the week we go out in high def, full on. I've just got to sort out OBS. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good week. Stay safe, everybody. And let's hope we get a step nearer in the next week to getting back to normal lives. Take care of yourself. Cheers, Pat. Cheers, Terry. Thank you. I'm over and out. And we'll catch you all next week. Goodbye.